Alright, so here we go. This is the Poulan Pro I was telling you about, the yellow one that likes to pull the cord out of your hand. It's had it outside, covered up. Finally get a chance to hopefully start messing with it. Poulan Pro, 7¼ horse. Seems to be a pretty nice mower. Just got to figure out what's wrong with it. So before I take it in the house down to the basement, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And it's got some old gas in it and stuff, but I'll drain that out before I take it in. But what we'll try to do, I think it's got gas in it. Yep. Gas and oil looks new. So we're going to do, I'm going to shoot it with some ether. I guess that's probably a little too much, but that's all good. And you'll get to see. Maybe it'll start. Trying. There it went. So it tries to run. Be nice if it fire up. I think it has a. Nope, so there's no primer on this setup. I don't think. No primer, so still thinking it's an issue with the timing. Yeah, there we go. That works, so about positive it's an issue with the timing, so I'll get it down in there and we'll tear into it and see what we can find out. That's got to get the gas and stuff out of it first. This one, I don't even think it has a blade on it. Nope, no blade. Just no big deal. So yeah, I'll get it down into the basement and we'll tear into it and see what we can figure out. Alright, so we got the mower down in the basement on the little shop table. And before we pull the flywheel off, we'll take the front cover off here and see, make sure valves and stuff are moving. And before we go any farther, of course you can see I jumped ahead. I got the cover and everything off, so we'll take a look at that, make sure there's nothing jacked up in there, and go from there. I have to look and see. I got some pullers. I don't know if I have the flywheel puller though. I'm not sure. If not, the Harbor Freighter, one of them is just down the road. If they're open. Not sure what time they operate, but if they have one down there, I'm sure they probably have it cheaper than anybody else. And there's one problem. Valves are just as loose as they can be. There. Nothing's bent, but I don't know if you probably can't see. I broke my freaking tripod, so that doesn't help matter as much. Let me see here. Let's see. Yeah, you can see. Spin it around here. So you can see these things are like super sloppy. So they'll have to be adjusted. And the part I was worried about was with the flywheel was a timing issue. So I have to get this nut off. I was hoping it didn't have, or they just came off separate, but apparently it looks like it's underneath the, hooks up underneath the flywheel, so just hoping to get it off to get to everything else. Because this isn't like a normal one. This has, instead of the flywheel being just like one cast aluminum piece, you know, with the fins and all that, this one apparently is separate. So you got the flywheel, and then this piece is plastic. It's got the plastic up here where the pull string and all that, you know, mounts down into it. So have to be careful not to break anything. And then we'll go from there. But at least we know it's firing. That's definitely a plus. I will have to look. Oh, come on. I will have to look and see what the specs are on these valves, so I don't over tighten them, end up breaking something, but they are like super sloppy. Alright, let me see if I can find see what pullers I have, and then we'll get this cover off the flywheel, see what the specs are on these valves. That is just crazy how that might be the whole problem right there. But we'll be back here in just a second. Alright, so we'll try to set these valves for get the filler gauges in there and try to get these to where they need to be. They are crazy loose. I looked on Briggs & Stratton's website, and just, you know, way too loose. I don't know what it's set at, but they, on there it shows multiple settings, depends on which motor you had, what year it was made. This one, it has it set at 4 on the filler gauge. So we're going to try 4 and go from there. This one, it just has the little Allen wrench nut in there, the lock nut. You just loosen it up. Oh, don't lose it. Turn the little nut. Try to get it to where we're happy with it. There we go, come on. Okay, so it's starting to grab. She's still pretty loose. Okay, try that, lock it. Be nice if this would take care of the backfire. So it's just touching the top of the valve. And you see how loose that bottom one was. That one should be, which one is that? Intake? I guess the intake valve. See how sloppy it is. That was actually relatively close, it feels like. Back her off some. There we go. Yep, nice and snug. Be nice if this is all that was wrong with it. Still pretty sloppy. Try to give her just a little more. Got there. Actually got a little side to side, but no up and down. We'll rotate it a couple times to see what we get. Still loose. Bring it back to the top. I'm just trying to get too much pressure. Take her around again, trying to get it up on top. That one is still pretty sloppy. It did say on their website when I was reading the section to set the rockers on here for the adjustment, that if you kept getting too much play, that it may need valve replacement. And with the engine code, this mower is roughly going on 5 years old. In 5 years, I mean, I could see an adjustment. I wouldn't think you'd have to replace a valve. So, you never know, I guess. I mean, it depends on how much it gets used. I mean, you never know. You could have a really huge yard, I guess. And the place we picked it up at, their yard wasn't really all that big. Doesn't mean one of the kids that lived there didn't use it for a, you know, around the neighborhood, cut on the neighbor's lawn. Get on there. Okay. Tighten that up and see what we got. I mean, it's a good possibility. That's where my nephew lives, right by where we got this from, and he does the same thing with his mower. He's got a couple different mowers. He runs around through the summer cutting all the neighbors' yards. Got plenty of compression. Alright, and the plug, I honestly don't know if that's the right plug for it. So I looked on their website and I did not see this part number. This is a pretty long plug. It doesn't feel like it's hitting or anything. But see. I'll do this before so I can snug her up a little bit and spin it around and see what happens. Get this drill. I don't know if I can spin it with the plug in it or not. Yeah, you can definitely got something going on. Oh yeah. Alright. Looks like the valves are just part of the problem. Get that back. So what I end up doing is I'll get, definitely check out the plug, make sure it's the right plug. And we are probably going to have to take that flywheel off just to double check the timing on it. And go from there, because it's definitely backfiring through the, backfiring to the exhaust, and so you can see where it was trying to fire. And we'll look at that, and as soon as we get back, we'll look at that. Alright, so we got the top off to where we can pour the fin, the nut, and all that stuff on the top. We got it all off, and I think timing is definitely an issue. If you see here, the groove where it's supposed to slide down, it's supposed to have that keyway where it's where the flywheel slides down to hold everything straight. So it's sheared. It is, if you can see it in the shadow, but anyway, it's right here, and it's supposed to be over here. If I get a better, a little bit better view, if I can get out of the shadow. But anyway, so it's spun on the shaft, so it's over here. It's supposed to be over here, and the puller, I thought I had one that would fit this, but I do not. So I'm going to have to get a puller to pull this off, inspect it, make sure there's no damage, which from what I can see from without taking it off, it doesn't look like any damage. So hopefully we can get this off, get a new piece for it, slide it in, put it all back together, and hopefully it'll run good. We'll find out, but you can see it there. It's right there. It's supposed to be over here, so definitely knock the timing off. And see what I can do for a puller, and we'll see if we can get it off. Alright, so here we go. We're going to try to knock this busted key out. And I finally got Brian G. That's the person that was telling me they thought the same thing I did, that this mower sheared a key, which was first thing I thought. I was knocking it out of time. It's about the first thing I could think of, because it knocks the timing off, and just like a car motor, causes it to backfire and all that. But it looks like we was both right. I'm sure we weren't the only ones, but anyway, let's see if we can knock this piece of sheared key out of it. It's typical punch, ball peen hammer, and there it is. So there's a piece of it. Anyway, so hopefully it comes out of the flywheel just as easy, which I'm sure it probably will. This might have to be upside down. Kind of low on light, but hell, it's sliding right out on its own. Probably won't even have to tap it. Yep, popped right out. What do you know? No, magnets are definitely good. Here we go. I really had my doubts with those bolts. But there we go. Key sheared in half. I'll take it up tomorrow and see what we can find. Definitely done a job on it, but see what I can find. We'll get it in there, get it back together, and see if she runs. I think she'll run. And the one valve, I gave you guys the wrong number on the valve. It was with the intake and the exhaust as far as setting them. The intake and the exhaust, one was actually supposed to be around 5, and the other one, according to Briggs and Stratton on their manual, it says around 7. And I think it was the exhaust I think was 4 and the intake was 7 on the gauges. So that was my fault. But at least you know now. You can get on their website, and Briggs and Stratton, they got manuals online for everything. I didn't misread it. I mean, I said it where it needed to be said, but as far as putting the information out, I gave you the information wrong. So one's, you know, it was like I think it was the exhaust was 5 and intake was 7. So if you're working on one, definitely double check. I'm in the habit of rushing everything, so you know, I just here doing this for the DIY yourself, you know, kind of thing. So just cheaper to do it yourself than it is to put it in the shop. Anyway, with that, I will get these tomorrow. We'll get them in and see if we can get this dude to fire up. And I also picked up this really old. I couldn't pass it up. I paid more for it than I wanted to, because usually at the thrift store, their weed eaters are usually around $6. But they wanted 12 for it. Have no idea if it runs, but it does turn over, has compression. So I went ahead and bought it. It was like $12.12. But this is an old Toro weed eater from, according to the serial number, when I ran it online through Toro's website, this thing's from like. So anyway, as I was saying, before my memory card decided it was full, I picked up a old Toro trimmer. This thing is old school, man. It is let me get it up to where you can see it. This ran the model number and everything and all that hoopla, but this comes back. It's an old Toro TC300. This thing is old school. It is complete and it has compression. Never put fuel in it to try to start it. But according to the serial number, that was based off of what number they started with on the serial number to roughly determine the year that they was manufactured. This one is from 1983, so it's got some years on it, but it's in good shape. But after we get done with this, we'll try to get on the truck, both trucks some. And well, depending on the weather, so we'll get back on the K5 because it's so close to being done, and we'll fit this weed eater in there somewhere after we're done with this, because right now with no garage and we got what, a 1/4 inch of ice on the ground and roughly 7 to 8 inches of snow, so we're trying to fit everything in together. Anyway, I'll get the keys for this hopefully tomorrow. We'll get it together, try to get this thing fired up. Till then, I shall see you. Alright, so I ended up having to make my own key. The excuse me, everybody had, no one had the square ones. Everybody had like the half moon shaped assortment, and it's pretty close. It's the old one, the one that's split in half. So I believe I got this one in order to work. Just put it in the vise and took her from the moon shape, flattened her out some, so hopefully it'll work. Those I got from Harbor Freight. Where everything's magnetized, I had to turn it to the opposite side, so it's, you know, make it a little easier so it's not pulling on it. Got all the contacts cleaned up, and hopefully this will work. I'm hoping. Okay, there's a straight. We're going to try. There we go. So far so good. I sprayed a little bit of lubricant down in there. Help it slide some when it gets tight. Alright, so far it looks like it's working. I hope. Yep. She's in there. It might be touching a little bit. Pretty solid. So hopefully after we'll try it and see if she fires up. Might have to try to adjust those contacts, maybe just a hair. It could just have a little bit of trash stuck to the magnets or something. But you can see there, it went flat. Wasn't too bad to grind down. Just happened to be careful of, you know, didn't want to take too much off and then have to keep redoing them, because I went to Home Depot and it was looked like they carried them on their site, but I got there and started asking them, and the one for it is actually cheap. It's like $6, but Home Depot could get it, but they have to order it. They don't carry it in store. I don't have any lawnmower shops close by, so if something goes wrong with this, I got one that's about a half an hour away. Then I'll swing by there and see if they have the correct key for it, or actually I'm not positive. I think I got one out there that I'm not sure if it's the right size or not, but I could definitely check. So if this doesn't work, then we'll go out there and see what we got laying around. But I'm going to start getting this back together, and I'll be right back, and hopefully if everything works out, we might try to fire it up. Alright, we got the flywheel and the plastics and everything back on. I wasn't going to do it in the basement, but I'm too curious not to. I'm going to give it just a little bit of taste of starting fluid. Not very much. I just want to see if it'll try to take off. This should do it. Just want enough to see if it'll do anything at all. We're about to find out, hopefully. So I got the arm zip tied up. So hopefully it'll just run the starting fluid out, if it even starts. And let's go from there. Oh, tried to do something. Maybe, maybe not. Whew. Definitely burn it. Yeah, buddy. There we go. Check that out. And this is why you wear safety glasses. So I must have put a fracture crack in the flywheel with the homemade pin. See if you can see that. There's so much for DIYing it, because now it's going to take a flywheel. That's okay, like I was saying, I'm pretty sure I got a spare one. Let's see what we got. Everything just went flying. But at least it tried to start, I guess. But here we go, let me get you where I can see that, or where you can see it. This flywheel is toasted. The pin came out, and everything. There we go. About as close as I can get you to it. I think the pin, yeah, this is it. Let's see what we got. The whole thing came apart. Yep, anyway, here you go. Back it out so you can see better. Learn by your mistakes. So it definitely popped it. So maybe I had the pin too thick. That's definitely the side it went on, so I must not have ground it down enough. But you can see where it split. Just totally trashed the flywheel on it, but I'm pretty sure I have a spare. I'll find out tomorrow for sure. And then so I'll make this a part 1. It's not a fail. Well, this part's a fail, but I think it still runs. But yeah, I'll get the other one, get it pulled, see if it's the same, get it back on and see what happens. Hopefully didn't trash anything. I don't think I did. A couple odds and ends went flying, but oh well. I guess I don't know what to say. I wasn't expecting that. But I'll get on the other one tomorrow. Try to get the flywheel off, see if it's the same. If it is, we'll get it back together, see how she does. Thanks for watching.